In the darkest corner of the village, where the trees whispered secrets to the wind, there lived a woman named Asha. Asha, once a beauty that turned heads and hearts, was now the name that echoed fear and loathing. No one knew when the change had come, when her laughter had turned to curses, and her gentle touch to a fist of iron. They only knew that Asha's name was whispered with hatred, and children ran from her shadow. Every day, Asha would walk through the village, her eyes cold and unfeeling, her heart as hard as the stones beneath her feet. Villagers would scatter at her approach, afraid to meet her gaze, for they believed that her stare brought misfortune. Livestock died, crops withered, and even the sun seemed to hide behind clouds when Asha was near. One day, a young girl, no more than 10 years old, dared to approach Asha. She had heard the stories, the warnings, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. Asha, seeing the girl, smiled a smile that had long forgotten warmth. The girl, brave but naive, asked Asha why everyone hated her. Asha's smile faded, replaced by a darkness that seemed to swallow the very air around them. "Hate is all I have left," she whispered, her voice a snake's hiss. "Hate is what they gave me, and now it's all I know." The village elders spoke of Asha in hushed tones, recalling a time when she was loved, when she was the heart of the village. But those times were buried deep under the weight of betrayal and bitterness. Asha had once been kind, generous, and full of life, but when she had needed her people the most, they had turned their backs on her. A promise made, a promise broken, a heart shattered, a soul lost. Asha had loved a man deeply, a man who had sworn to love her in return, but he had been false, and his betrayal had been the knife that carved away her kindness, her trust, her love. When Asha had sought comfort in the village, she had found only cold shoulders and turned backs. Her pain festered, growing into a monstrous hatred that consumed her. She cursed the village, and from that day nothing grew where Asha walked. As the years passed, Asha's hatred only deepened. She lived alone, shunned by all, but it was her choice to remain among them, to remind them of their cruelty. The villagers lived in fear of her, but none had the courage to confront her. They believed that her curse was the price they paid for their sins, that Asha was their punishment, their reminder of the pain they had caused. But the curse was not Asha's doing, it was their own hatred, reflected back at them. Asha was merely the mirror, showing them the darkness that lay within their own hearts. She had become what they feared, what they despised, because that was all they had left her with. One night, Asha's house was set ablaze. The villagers had finally had enough. They believed that if Asha were gone, their lives would return to what they once were. But as the flames consumed her home, Asha stood in the midst of the fire and touched her eyes burning with a fury that matched the inferno around her. "You cannot kill what you have already destroyed," she cried, her voice carrying over the crackling flames. "I am your creation, and you will never be free of me." And with that, Asha disappeared into the night, leaving nothing but ashes and fear in her wake. The village was never the same again. The land remained barren, the air thick with the weight of unspoken guilt and regret. Asha's name became a curse, a warning to those who would dare betray the trust of others. And so, the tale of Asha, the woman scorned and rejected, lived on, a tragic reminder of the power of hatred and the destruction it brings. No one spoke her name aloud, but her story was etched into the hearts of all who heard it, a story that would be told for generations to come. Remember, if you have not yet liked this video, please do so now. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe now to hear more stories like this. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Asha's story is one of sorrow, of a heart turned to stone by the cruelty of those around her. It is a tale that warns us all of the consequences of our actions, of the darkness that lies within us all. May her story serve as a lesson to treat others with kindness and to never let hatred take root in our hearts. In our next story, we are going to be detailing everything that happened in the life of Asha and how she turned into a monster. Thank you for watching. If you have not liked the video yet, please do so now and remember to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this.